How's it going, troops? Jordan here with episode 3 of Squadron Tactics, and in today's episode we're going to be taking a look at footstep sounds as well as the perks Dead Silence and Awareness and how one perk affects the other. So one thing that's always been useful within Call of Duty games is listening out for enemy footsteps, also known as sound whoring. Sound whoring is when you listen out for enemy footsteps and you know exactly where they're coming from before you even see them. Now, whilst the enemy may feel that this is a very annoying tactic to use, it is extremely useful to know exactly where your enemies are at all times, and just hearing footsteps, it's very crucial and definitely very useful in game. Also found within Call of Duty games are sound perks that usually help quiet your footsteps or make enemy footsteps louder, or any other sound perks in regards to your soldier. In Call of Duty Black Ops 3 multiplayer, there are 3 sound perks. We have Dead Silence, we have Awareness, and we have Blast Suppressor. Only 2 of these perks, that being Dead Silence and Awareness, affect your footstep noises, whereas the other perk, Blast Suppressor, affects your thrust pack. So yesterday I decided to take some tests in regards to Dead Silence and Awareness, because obviously those are the sound perks in terms of footsteps that are very crucial and very useful to use within certain game modes like Search and Destroy and Free For All. Now, my good friend James, or Infamous, helped me conduct these tests, so I do appreciate it that he helped me out with this. So without further ado, let's get into the testing. So the first test was me without Awareness on, and my good friend James, or Infamous, here without Dead Silence on. Take a listen. Now, as you can hear, footsteps are definitely recognisable and are hearable, however you can only hear them at a certain range. Now for the second test, I have Awareness on, but James doesn't have Dead Silence on. Take a listen. So as you can hear, footsteps are definitely a lot louder and clearer, and you can also hear them from quite far away. Now for the third test, I don't have Awareness on, but James has Dead Silence on. Take a listen. So as you can hear, footsteps are about 95% silent, if not then pretty much completely silent, and it's very similar to what Ninja Pro is from Call of Duty Black Ops. Now when James got very close to me and started running around in circles, you can hear a little bass to the footsteps, but that is only when you're very close to your enemy, in which by then you would have either killed the enemy or the enemy would have killed you. Now moving on to the fourth test, this is with me with Awareness on and also James with Dead Silence on. Take a listen. So as you can hear, enemy footsteps aren't silent anymore and you can still hear them, but at the same time you can't hear the enemy footsteps from a long way away, you can only hear them when they're quite close up. This basically means that if you have Awareness on and your enemy has Dead Silence on, both perks are completely cancelled out. So just to get a clearer picture of how far you can actually hear these footsteps, I decided to show you guys a bird's eye view of when I first started hearing enemy footsteps with and without the perk configurations. So the orange dot that is on your screen is where I was standing during these tests, and the rest of the dots are as followed. So the red dot that you can see on your screen is where I started hearing enemy footsteps without using awareness and the enemy without using dead silence. This is pretty much the same exact location as well as to when I was using awareness and James was using dead silence, indicating that these perks cancel each other out. The green dot was when I was using awareness and James was not using dead silence, which you can see that you can hear the enemy from quite far away, so awareness is definitely a very useful perk to use when sound whoring in gamers like Search and Destroy and Free For All. And finally, the purple dot is when James was using dead silence but I was not using awareness, in which he was so close up I could have whacked him in the head with the butt of my gun. Now, whilst we were doing this testing, James did question whether or not dead silence would affect wall running or not, so we decided to do some tests on wall running with and without the perk dead silence on. So for the first wall running test, I am not using dead silence. Take a listen. So as you can hear, my footsteps are clear and they are there, so obviously it's not quiet and the enemy can definitely hear me. Now for the second test, I am using dead silence on and wall running. Take a listen. So as you can hear, my footsteps are completely silent when wall running. However though, this is not exactly the case, as we're going to see here. So for the third test, I'm going to be standing right next to the wall run spot at Bravo flag on Nuketown, whilst James is going to be doing some wall running with and without dead silence on. So here is James without dead silence on. Take a listen. So as you can hear there, James's footsteps can be heard and they are not quiet at all. You can definitely know that he's wall running, but this is what James sounds like whilst he's wall running with dead silence on. Take a listen. So as you can hear there, James's footsteps are heard wall running, which is very, very strange. So for you, when you're wall running with dead silence on, it's completely quiet and your footsteps are pretty much eliminated. But when it comes to the enemy hearing your footsteps wall running with dead silence on, the enemy can still hear your footsteps despite you not hearing them. So don't be fooled that your footsteps are quiet when wall running, because trust me, they are not, and the enemy will more than likely know that you're wall running right near them, and they will probably take you out because they'll know exactly where you're coming from. Now, I also did some tests in regards to the different sound mixes that Treyarch has within their game. This is in terms of the normal standard Treyarch mix, the high boost mix, and also the super crunch mix. And for me, I could not really notice a difference in terms of trying to hear footsteps clearer from one another. They all sounded pretty much the same, apart from the noises getting louder and louder depending on the actual mix itself. So I conducted these tests again, but this time I was using awareness. And again, there was a minimal difference in terms of hearing any other noise like explosions or grenades or reloading or firing a weapon and whatnot. But you can definitely distinguish that the footsteps were much louder and much clearer within each one of these mixes. Although I believe that the high boost mix made footsteps a little bit more clearer. I don't know whether that's just me or not. But those were the results that I got when testing with the different sound mixes in Black Ops 3. So to summarise my results of the test, we can definitely note down that the footsteps within Black Ops 3 are more audible than they were back in Black Ops 2. Not only that though, but we also learned that both perks can cancel each other out when you either have Dead Silence or Awareness on and the enemy has the opposite perk. And lastly, we also learned that Dead Silence is a great perk to use within game modes such as Search and Destroy and Free For All. So troops, this wraps up this episode of Squadron Tactics. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. If you did, then do give the video a thumbs up. I would appreciate it a lot. and you haven't subscribed to my channel, then make sure to do so for all of your Call of Duty Black Ops 3 tactics and strategies. And until the next video, I thank you all for watching, stay true to me troops, and I'll see you in game.